And I must praise the communication team for Gashagua because they have made him to resonate well because of the choice of words. But the choice of words from the president's team, they are reactionary. What Kimani Ichung'wah is doing, he's reacting. He's not communicating. If he stick on the hustler narrative or bottom-up economic narrative slogan, that one will not work. It is saturated, it is expired, and it has not delivered. He was dancing to the song of Kasongo. The president should not go that way because the perception of the name Kasongo in the mind of Kenyans, Kasongo is a corrupt person, a destroyed person, a greedy person, a land grabber, a thief, and all that.
Tired of the same old shopping experience? Step into a smarter way to shop with Whiteson Group, Kenya's go-to online store for quality you can trust. From gadgets and homeware to everyday essentials, we deliver convenience right to your door. Fast shopping, secure payments, and top-notch customer care, all in one place. Visit whitesongroup.com today. Whiteson Group, simple, reliable, delivered.
Great to see you. Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Kabir. It is always a joy, it is always a privilege, it is always an honor to have you joining us every single day for our conversations on politics and governance. Today, I'm joined by Chapia. Chapia, he's a communications expert, political communications expert. I'm going to talk about what we are seeing in different parts of the country when it comes to different divides actually campaigning. The conversation today with him is all about slogans that we are seeing from different sides of the political sphere. Great to see you. How are you doing today, Mr. Chapia?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing well.
Yes.
We have decided to have this conversation at least every Wednesday so that we talk about what we are seeing in the political arena, but we try to philosophize or look at the communication thinking behind it. It is very important for Kenyans to understand what is being said, whether it is working for the political class, and whether it is actually good for, the unity of the country. Yes. This past couple of months since Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, we've had a lot of one term, we've had a lot of Ruto must go, we've had a lot of Zakayo, Kaongo, Mwizi, all this high Makuzo, and you listen to someone like Kimani Ichung'wah and he's saying, look, this Makuzo thing, what are you even saying? We are all brothers and sisters. What are you even saying? Let me ask you about these emerging slogans and when it comes to campaigning. Do you think they are actually unifying the country? Talk especially about the opposing side.
Thank you very much. The political slogans are very good for political development and political growth. And the way you develop them matters a lot. For example, towards the 2022 general election, the political slogans of the UDA was hustlers movement, the bottom-up economic movement. And it was developed and paneled well to fit in the demands of William Ruto. Then what happened, now the Azimio were responding to the hustler movement or to the bottom-up movement, and they developed it very well. And the same replica is happening now. When Rigathi Gachagua has started with one term, on his side, from the side of the opposition, the one-term slogan is building the opposition, is building the revolution, is exciting the crowd. So it will be very difficult to counter that one-term slogan. But now on the government side, the experts, or from the communication point of view, when the government side responds to it as to where Rigathi says one term and the government decides two term, they are building one term. Because what they are doing, instead of coming up with a strategy, how they can minimize the impact of one term, now they are modifying it with saying two terms. So it's come now, they are reacting. So the communication team from the government side should advise the president that instead of saying two terms or kumi bila break, they should come up with their own slogans because now they are reacting to existing slogans. So you find out that it will be very easy for Kenyans to know that it is Rigathi Gachagua who started with one-term slogan, and now the government side is lacking ideas in terms of communication to respond by saying two terms, kumi bila breki or kazi bila breki. Then to add on that, when the Rigathi team is saying one-term slogan, it is putting a lot of adjective on it. Mwizi, one term. Muuaji, one term. Zakayo, one term. So it is sinking into the mind of the voters. So the government side should counter that, but not by saying Arambe, 2 terms. So you find that the slogan, these slogans, the one-term slogan is benefiting the side of Rigathi more than with the side of the 2-term slogan on the side of the government.
What comes to mind though when you hear the president saying, even if they say 1 term and they are not giving us an agenda, it will not work. Kenyans will not vote for it, because government is simply saying, if they are not telling us about education or agriculture, these things that they are saying 1 term will not resonate. Kenyans will not vote for that.
That's a very good question. When these guys are saying 1 term, what they are doing, they are not focusing on agenda. They are building momentum towards the 2027. They are building the revolution and they are building the euphoria. So that's why in any communication they are doing, whether Rigathi is present or outside the country, they will end up by saying 1 term. So the agenda, and they have specified, the opposition have specified, one of their main agenda is to make sure the president goes for 1 term. So 1 term in itself, it is a slogan, it is communicating the agenda. So the government is reacting, or the KK government is reacting on that 1 term agenda. So from a communication point of view, the government should come up with their own slogan. And if I pick what happened towards 2022, when the opposition, that is when William Ruto was looking for president, he was campaigning on hustler and bottom-up economy. So the Azimio were reacting to that. So the more they react to it, and the more they develop this 1 term slogan. So from the communication point of view, as an expert, the government should not react to 1 term slogan. Instead, the government should come up, or the KK coalition of Azimio and the president, they should come up with a slogan that develops the agenda. Because most of the time you find out that William Ruto talks about anajenga barabara, anajenga nyumba, anajenga nini. So this government side should come up with a slogan related to the main focus of their candidates. But if now they start reacting to the main focus of the opposition, because the main focus of opposition, it's 1 term, that's their main focus and their main agenda. And the main agenda of the government is to explain what they have done. So the government should come up with a slogan in favor of what they want to do or what they have done. So they should not be reactionary.
Based on that, you're saying they've failed.
Yes.
But let me ask you, what slogan can they pick up? And can you correlate slogans internationally? Because we've been watching a lot of MAGA movements in America, Make America Great Again. We see Obama. What do you think the president should do now?
Yes. For example, if I pick on what Obama did, that slogan has stuck in the mind of several people. Yes, we can. But when you are coming up with a slogan, at least make sure that your slogan, from the communication point of view, your slogan should have less than 3 words, if possible 2 words. For example, Obama came up with yes, we can. That was on the higher side, and that slogan worked very well for him up to today. Then when Trump was doing his, last time he was doing, let's make America great. Then Slump realized, let's make America great is a bigger slogan. It's of around 4 words. So he had to reduce it to 2 words, America first. Then the same thing happens to Kibaki. When Kibaki was doing it, he just put, when he was doing for re-election, he just decided to come up with Kazi iendelee. So what I can advise the president or the government side, come up with your slogan, and your slogan should be less than 3 words or 2 words. And your slogan should be based on what your presidential candidate is talking about throughout. For example, William Ruto is about mujengo, kujenga, barabara, so you affordable housing, kujenga. So if the government side comes up with the slogans like Arambe mtu wa mjengo, Arambe kazi ya mkono, so that they link William Ruto to the construction, rather than now they are linking William Ruto to opposing 1 term, which is magnifying this 1 term concept. So I can advise him, they come up with their own slogan so that they leave this particular, the counter slogan of two-term for political chance in rallies, it can work. But now when it comes to messaging, it becomes very difficult to move out with that.
Let me ask you this. You've talked about Mtu ya Mjengo,
Yes.
Arambe, just as an example.
Yes.
But can it work again if Ruto comes up with this hustler, bottom-up kind of narrative showing Kenyans that he's still a man of the ground? Can it work again?
The hustler narrative concept cannot work again for now, because the hustler concept, it has not achieved what the hustlers were promised. But Ruto, if you study the psychology of Ruto, is focused on the lower cadre of the society. So he needs to come up with a slogan, not a hustler narrative, but a slogan that will still carry the lower class in the society, like Mtu wa Mjengo, Arambe. So Ruto can come up with a slogan of Mtu wa Mjengo because he's talking about Mjengo throughout.
Yes.
But he must change. If he stick on the hustler narrative or bottom-up economic narrative slogan, that one will not work. It is saturated, it is expired, and it has not delivered.
Wait, it is saturated, it is expired,
and it has not, it cannot deliver. So the president must move, or the president team, or the communication advisors to the president, they must move away from that. But because the president is focused on the locals, the way he speaks, the perceptions he creates, he must come up with a new slogan that is also related to the people of the low class, the middle class and below, which is kama Mtu wa Mjengo, kazi sasa, twende job, twende wera, such kind of slogans that are associated with that. But the hustler movement, the hustler nation, the bottom-up economic, it will not work for him.
Do you think he should fire every communication expert? Because this has been the conversation since he took over office. We have been failing in communicating. When it comes to finance, we failed at communicating. And now when we're going back to politics, do you think he should now reconsider those around him, those that are communications experts, so that he can win the hearts of Kenyans?
He has to. The first option, there is a clique of president where he depends on them for communication. That is a saturated team. The ideas have expired. I've got no objection. Itumbi is a very good friend. He's a very nice person socially. But the role of Itumbi as a communication expert for the president, it is now overtaken by the Gen Z, because Itumbi was a digital expert by then. Now the Gen Zs have come in. So Itumbi can remain afraid to the president, but he cannot stick as a digital communication advisor to the president and without any,
he has expired.
Any offense. He has expired. Then also we have the government spokesman. The government spokesman is contradicting. So in government, the government spokesman, who is a friend of mine, Mwaura, Mwaura is contradicting. Mwaura doesn't have the background of communication. So the president must work with the professionals in the communication area. That's why even recently, the Minister for Finance was communicating that the primary education is not going to
be funded. There's no capitation.
No capitation fund. Followed by now the Minister of Education saying there is capitation fund. The president saying, coming with a different communication, he's building classes, he has employed people. So from that aspect of just education, you find out that from the side of the president, there is a communication breakdown. Because the Minister of Finance has a different aspect. The Minister of Education has a different aspect. The PS in the Ministry of Education has a different aspect. The president himself, when he was responding to it, he did not talk about capitation. He talked about employing teachers. So the president, who is not, he needs to be sat down and have professional communication experts to advise him on messaging on the education or on the different issues.
Maybe before I ask the last question, what do you think is working for Rigathi Gachagua? Because when the president was campaigning 2022, everyone said, if you hear the president speaking, he resonates with the people. That is William Ruto then.
Yes.
What is working with Rigathi Gachagua now that Ruto is not tapping into? Because everything that the opposition from Gashagua is saying, hi Makuzo, everyone is resonating with it. One term, everyone is resonating with it. Ruto must go, everyone is singing Ruto must go in clubs. What does Gashagua have now?
What is making Gashagua to shine in communication? The presentation and the choice of words the Gashagua is picking, it resonates with the Kenyans. For example, when he picks the cousin, who doesn't have cousins? All of us, we have cousins. So it resonates with that. Who doesn't have the uncles and brothers? So Gashagua is picking on the words that resonates with the people. But when the president is now trying to respond, or the president team is trying to respond to him, they're now the president is using his power. Well, like when he was responding the other day, saying that all the demonstrators should be shot on the leg. It does not resonate with the people. So the only advantage, the Gashagua team, and I must praise the communication team for Gashagua, because they have made him to resonate well because of the choice of words. But the choice of words from the president's team, they are reactionary. What Kimani Ichung'wah is doing, he's reacting. He's not communicating. So Gashagua comes up so far as the best communicator compared to the president, who was the best communicator towards 2022. So if we move from high cousins, Makuzo, and all that, it is resonating with that. But when the president now is talking about capitation, when there is no food, the schools are being closed either because of lack of capitation, it does not resonate well with the people. So Gashagua is achieving communication because the choice of words. But the response that is coming from the government side has a poor choice of words.
Finally, take home, as a communication expert, Ruto calls you today and says, Chapia, come, tell me how to create these words. Tell me how to resonate with the people. How do we come up with one that resonates with the people, that everywhere I go, people will say, this is Ruto, and actually, this guy can actually win?
What I will advise the president, but this is unsolicited advice, is that come up with a slogan that resonates with the people and the current time. And the president should not attempt to use the negative slogans that opposition has given him. For example, the slogan of Zakayo, the slogan of Kasongo. I've heard the president, when he was in Nikisi State House, he was dancing to the song of Kasongo. The president should not go that way, because the perception of the name Kasongo in the mind of Kenyans, Kasongo is a corrupt person, a destroyed person, a greedy person, a land grabber, a thief, and all that. So the president should never anywhere refer to himself, they call me Kasongo or they call me Zakayo. The president should come up with his own slogan, Fundi wa Mkono, for example, because he liked talking about building. So the president should say, Mimi sasa ni mutu ya mkono. Then the communication experts or the team in the president team develop that towards that communication. But the president should not accept that opposition are calling me Zakayo, I've got no problem. He should have the problem. Because the Zakayo has been painted as the tax-ravaged person. And the bill called Zakayo was misusing the tax power he had.
Yes.
So that is the only thing I can advise the president. Go back to your communication team. Make your communication team professional. Don't handpick friends, relatives, cousins, or just don't pick anybody. We have so many communication experts, communication professors, communication lecturers. Pick those who will tell you the truth. Because even now, if the president is asked about SHA, the president is saying SHA is working. But the president does have the correct communication response on that. So the president is a good communicator. As a person, he's a good communicator. But now the messaging or the what to communicate is where it's getting wrong. And now Gashagua, who is having proper communication team, is getting right because he's being trained. So the president should listen to his communication team and have professionals. And keep the friends who are in his communication team for tea and coffee in the evening, but when he wants professional, he'll take that and he will do good.
Well, what a conversation. Thanks, Chapia. We'll be having this conversation, critical analysis of political communications. We're heading over to the campaign season. Actually, we started when Gashagua was impeached, and many people would want to know where is the missing link. In these conversations, we'll be understanding how communication works in politics, and Chapia will be here with us every single week, every single Wednesday, to talk about communication, political communication. He's a political communications expert, and we'll be breaking down some of the missteps that are happening in both sides of the divide. Thank you so much for making time for us. I hope we'll be having you again and again. Next Wednesday we'll be together.
Niko tayari.
I see you. Goodbye for now.
Tired of the same old shopping experience? Step into a smarter way to shop with Whiteson Group, Kenya's go-to online store for quality you can trust. From gadgets and homeware to everyday essentials, we deliver convenience right to your door. Fast shopping, secure payments, and top-notch customer care, all in one place. Visit whitesandgroup.com today. Whites and Group, simple, reliable, delivered.